With Doikimas, I built the identity layer that makes verifiable proof possible. Verified once in hardware and checkable by any stranger without trusting me. The natural next question is what you actually build on top of that. So actually in our first one-on-one, Matt and I were talking about the identity space, and he said something that stuck with me, that the next thing he wanted to build or was interested in was a real estate agent for New York City, and that the gap was always this medium of identity. You can find the apartment, but then you have to hand over your documents to a landlord or a real estate agent who you've often met once or never met at all. And every single time, with no guarantees about what happens to them after, with multiple copies being passed around. So AI agents are starting to do these tasks for us. And when an agent acts on your behalf with a counterparty that you've never met, that counterparty has no way to verify what the agent actually did. Did it really check your identity? Did it forge it? Did it log your documents? That's what Nostos is. It's the real estate agent Matt described, built on the identity foundation I just showed you. It finds apartments, books tours, and submits applications. And instead of handing over documents, the landlord gets a cryptographic proof from EigenCloud. And critically, this needs to work for both sides. Janice has never met this landlord, and the landlord has never heard of Nostos, so the proof has to be convincing again to a complete stranger. And again, that's what EigenCloud makes possible. So let me show you. This is Janice again. She's already registered on Doikimas, so her identity is verified and sitting in her vault, which is ready to go. After she authenticates into Nostos, she meets the agent. There's a simple message in natural language, but under the hood, the model is actually running through the Versal AI gateway and actually decides to invoke a tool called the scheduled tours. It's not a UI component, it's actually a real function call that hits my AP scheduled tours endpoint. And what it does is it filters listings against her stated preferences. It also proposes times that fit her schedule and sends off calendar invites through the Resend API. You can see by the end of this that Janice finds 3 apartments that match. But before anything actually gets booked, and before a single calendar invite goes out, the agent hits a gate. I built it so the sheet appears automatically. At this point of time, the agent has found the listings, but it can't go farther without verified identity. And it knows that. So it actually fires a post to the API agent verify on the EigenCloud TEE in the background. There's no button press from Janice to bring up the screen, and that's exactly how it comes up. So the agent is basically blocked at the enclave until the user actually signs it off. And so that's exactly the point. The agent can't self-sign its way through this because the proof has to come from Janice's vault. You're familiar with Janice's identity vault. Brooklyn Properties LLC has a similar verification request to the Airbnb one we saw before this. And this is just the attributes that the landlord actually needs. When she approves, EigenCloud's Enclave, which is running on Intel TDX hardware, signs the attestation using a key derived from the app ID on Eigen's network. That signature is then produced inside the hardware boundary. It can't exist outside of it. The poll will then catch this, so the sheet is updating automatically, and the attestation is actually live in the TEE's request store. It's signed, timestamped, and tied to Janice's email. Now I click Approve and Apply. The TE validates 3 things before it creates a single rental application row that goes to the landlord side. First, the request ID actually exists. Second, the status is approved. And third, the email in the request actually matches the tenant that's submitting it. If any of these checks fails, the booking is actually automatically rejected with the 400. Now, 3 tours are confirmed for Janice. You can actually see the 3 calendar invites that made it to her inbox that were queued through the Resend API. This is exactly what was sent during the scheduled tours tool call. And the agent found the apartments, scheduled the tours, verified Janice's identity, submitted 3 applications on her behalf after her approval, and finally delivered the calendar. This is an end-to-end system with no human in the loop at any step. Now I'm on the other side. I'm the landlord, and I think this is the moment that makes the 2-party system real. I didn't build Nostos. I've also never met Janice, but I don't have to trust either of them because I'm able to verify this independently. I'm using the same 5-step guided workflow as I did for Doikimas, but now specialized for a vertical, and in this case, that's real estate. First, I'm checking the signature on Etherscan, then I'm checking that the EigenCloud dashboard shows a real deployment, finally, that the wallet address is cryptographically derived from the specific deployment, and 4, that the build is reproducible. Even if you rebuild Nostos on AWS, the same AI, the same chat, the same listings, the identity check becomes a claim Nostos makes about itself. There's no enclave, no hardware boundary, and no signature a stranger can verify. You just have to trust us, and I believe that trust doesn't scale in this. What Matt described in that first conversation to me was a gap, and I believe that Nostos closes it. This is one agent, one use case, but the infrastructure underneath it is what makes thousands of identity workflows verifiable at scale. And this means without anyone having to trust a privacy policy ever again. It's only possible because of EigenCloud.